Okay, I'm doing a couple of small projects today. I'm going to start by doing one of my magnets. I will not be gluing the magnet in because I tend to do those in batches at home where I do so I don't waste epoxy. And I've got the blank chucked up now for drilling. I'm using a 1/2 inch Forstner bit, and I have marked it so that it will go with a line about 3/16 of an inch away from the edge. This will let me mount the 1/8 inch thick magnet easily. The next step is I will be drilling a hole that is set for the tap size. Since I use this for magnets all the time, I have a flag on it already. So I gotta make sure I got a fairly clear hole, so bear with me here. This is a 3/16 tap, and it's called a bottoming tap because it has no point. It's used in metalworking for making blind holes, which makes this a very good choice for this. Back it off every now and then to clear your threads. Now, I will admit, it does not absolutely have to be tapped all the way for these, because the only use of this threading is going to be during turning. This is the same mandrel I would use for turning bottle stoppers, etc. It's threaded, and I set the flag on my drill for the tapping with the tip of the drill against the base here. So it is capable of going all the way. Now, sometimes I have used a 1/2-inch dowel to try to turn. However, I've discovered that when I get ready to remove the live center, it tends to come off even with the lightest cut attempted. I drilled at about 1,000. At home, because I don't have a variable lathe, I will drill significantly faster. I'm starting with a slightly radiused carbide cutter. And I've brought the speed up to 2,000, which is apparently the fastest at this one setting. I'm going to clear this damage here. Just going to use the round cutter here, kind of scoop a divot out the center. I'm going to use the round cutter here to make a bit of a cove. Now, before I start sanding, I'm using a piece of wrap from shelf lining. It's tighter than it normally is for some reason.
Want me to do it while you hold it?
I think I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the hard way to get this loosened before I do my sanding and finishing. Otherwise, I basically have to garbage it. Okay. I start at 60 grit. My next grit is 80. Then 120. This is 180. 240. 320. 400. Then 600. Now I'm switching to Yorkshire grit, which I put on with a piece of blue shop towel.
Medium or the fine?
I'm starting with the original and then I go to the fine. Yeah, I stand a little bit away while it comes up to speed because it can throw. And I do Yorkshire grit microfine is my next step. And in case you're wondering, they do last a long time for me because most of what I'm doing is small. I finally bought new ones just this last month after 4 or 5 years, and I still hadn't finished the containers. But it was time to get new ones. Again, stand out of the line of fire. And there it went. Next, I do Aussie oil as my friction polish. Aussie oil. Again, staying out of the line of fire while it gets up to speed. And the next step would be at home, I would get a batch of these together, like 4 or 5 of them, epoxy and stick magnets in. The extra benefit of the tapped hole is the epoxy will flow into that and grab the threading, making it a lot harder for the magnet to come out.
Picture. Oh, thank you, man.
Okay, whoops, drilling first. Okay. I bought a set of plant routers, stepped dead center, and a drill bit for this. The smaller diameter of the drill is 1/16 of an inch in diameter. The larger part is 15/64. If I were doing this with 2 bits, I would almost certainly go with a 1/4 inch bit, and instead of the dead center, I would use a 1/4 inch dowel held in a chuck to turn, because it will be sufficient.
What is this that you're working on now, Paul?
This is going to be a fan pole or light pole. And down the speed to about 1200 here. And I like to keep a hand on my drill chuck, especially when I'm withdrawing it, because you never know when it's going to cut loose.
That sounds up then to the pretty dang good.
I've drilled the rest of my blanks already. Again, square carbide to start with.
Going in the woods.
Now, another reason I brought a extra blanks.
You call it dinner.
It's a stepped dead center.
What's that? What's already has a hole. Oh, yeah.
I did that deliberately on the other ones. Uh, Actually, that's probably about the second or third I've had fly apart.
What's happening to your on the side?
And my goal here is sort of a teardrop shape. And I basically sand through the same grits again. Okay. To help me thread this, I have already knotted one end. I used 3 knots on my thread. Basically a wet paper towel to help me. And it's easier to go from the small side. And of course, it's not going to work today. when that happens at home, I tend to use a disassembly punch to help thread it. Okay. Once threaded through, I try to get 3 knots on top of each other so that it will hold. As you can see, it will hold, and then scissors cuts off the extra. And if everybody wants to see it, I have a larger block that I would use to make more of a circular or egg-shaped one. The procedure is basically the same. For this one, we're going to be a little fancy and do a couple of lines. Okay. Questions? Yeah. Five of them.